Hello, everybody. My name's Rick McCutcheon. I'm a Dynamics 365 MVP. And today on Partner Talks, I have Susana Ramos from Coffee and Dunn. Susana, tell
Hello,
us who you
hello.
are and what you do.
Sure. So, Susana Ramos, I serve as our lead for the managed services team at Coffee and Dunn. So, our director of marketing services.
So, tell us a little bit about Coffee and Dunn, because when I think about Coffee and Dunn, you sound like a marketing agency, but I know you're the top partner when it comes to dynamics and anything marketing. So, tell us about your organization's journey.
Yeah, well, look, I appreciate that. And I think when we think of ourselves, I think we think of ourselves as more than an agency. We really see ourselves as what we call a connected experience partner. And what that really means is that our philosophy is that in order to deliver a true connected experience for customers, you need to be able to leverage interactions across the board. So that's not just what's happening out of your marketing automation tool. That's what's happening in sales. That's what's happening in customer service. You really need to be able to truly connect those, be able to leverage that data to help determine your next best actions and the like. So when we think about the work that we do, we're really seeing ourselves as truly a connected experience partner across the board. But we've been in the space for over a decade. We've been a Microsoft partner for some time.
And so, what I like working about Coffee and Dunn is, and there's lots of partners I've worked with historically where they're really good at implementing a lot of the sales process work that I've done in the past. But the drop off is when it comes to marketing. And most Microsoft partners, when you want to talk to them about marketing, sort of like, here, I'll hook it up for you and I'll set up your newsletter for you, but I'm getting out of here, right? Where Coffee and Dunn really takes it a lot further. So talk a little bit about the product, which is no longer called Dynamics Marketing, and how do you work with it?
Yeah, so I think it's important to maybe take a step back from Dynamics 365 customer insights journeys, right? It's a mouthful, but I think it's important to take a step back from the product. When we think about the work that we're doing, you're absolutely right. The process is not siloed. It is not sales and then marketing. It's no longer even a handoff. It is truly a connected process where those responsibilities are shared throughout the entire customer engagement process. So when we think about the work that we do, we try and look at it not just from the technical lens, but also functionally and in terms of the industry, right? That's a three-pronged approach because we think that in order for you to be able to do this well, you can't just think about the technology. You need to think about the people and the process that the technology supports. So when we are working in the system, we have a methodology. It's plan, build, and run. Plan is around that strategic planning, right? How do we help to ensure that you're building a strategy that's going to ultimately drive growth for the organization? We take that and apply best practices into the Dynamics 365 CE products, right? So again, not just CI journeys, although that is our anchor, but also sales and service. How do we then marry that strategy with best practices in the product to make sure that we're really maximizing those customer interactions to get optimal results for the organization?
So, for those viewers who aren't familiar, Dynamics Marketing is now CIJ or Customer Insights Journeys. And there's some changes coming out to or coming due to the product that are very important to the user base. So, why don't we talk a little bit about what those changes are?
Yeah. So, well, let's start with what it is and what it isn't, right? So, January or June 30th, rather. Oh, gosh, if it were January, I think we would lose our minds, right? June 30th of 2025. That's the end date. And what that really means is that it's removing outbound from CI journeys. So when we think of that, we're thinking, is it the data? Absolutely not. You're going to keep your data. What it ultimately means is that you no longer have access to the functionality of outbound marketing within CI journeys. Your data is not going anywhere. You don't have to worry about that. But that June date doesn't mean much. And by that, I mean, you don't wait until June 30th to get this done. There's quite a bit of work that needs to start happening now to ensure that that transition is a smooth one. So that when June 30th comes around, you've already dotted your I's and crossed your T's, and you're taking full advantage of the new work area.
So, Susanna, they're going to deprecate some functionality in the product, but it's being picked up by another module. So, let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, in most cases, it already has, right? So you already have emails, segmentation, journeys, forms, and in most cases, it's an optimized, kind of new and improved version of that functionality. So you can already start to take advantage of a lot of that. And in fact, that's what we encourage our clients to do. Like, you don't need to wait to be fully transitioned over to start taking advantage of some of those features today. So when we think about losing functionality in outbound, it's not necessarily that you're losing the functionality. You have that available in real time. It's just in a new work area, and in most cases, new and improved. So you can start using that today.
So they have to migrate their functionality or workflows to a different part of the product.
Yeah, so there's probably a start with the assets themselves, so your marketing assets. So, one of the first recommendations that we typically make to customers is, take stock of what you have. Chances are the emails that you have, the segmentation, even the forms, a lot of those may be one-offs, or they may no longer be relevant. You don't need to move those over, right? So take stock of what you have now and determine what needs to be migrated over. There are some migration tools within the platform today that you can take advantage of. So for emails, for example, you can move those right over into the new work area using a tool that's already in the product. No need for third-party tools for things like that. So that's one of the first things that we talk about to actually get started over there and start moving over is take stock of what you have. Let's, figure out what you actually need before you decide what needs to get moved over.
Okay, and Coffee and Dunn's coming up with some support materials and a portal to help clients through this. So why don't we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I mentioned our methodology of plan, build, and run. Run is where this really lies, right? So once you get into the tool and you start to become more, the goal is to be able to become more tool confident, right? We want to be able to make sure that you are getting the most out of the product. And so part of that is in guided labs and training, but we are also working on two other really exciting offerings. The first is a step-by-step guide. It's customizable. And this is geared specifically to customers who are making the move from outbound into real time. So if you want to take this kind of DIY approach, we can help you do that. So we've got a guide that based off of the features that you're using today and or the ones that you're interested in, you can create that customizable guide and it'll give you some tips, tricks, know-how as you are making the transition over. The second thing, and I'm really excited about this as well, it's our Knowledge Hub. So this is a full community that has self-paced courses. A lot of them are focused on the products. So, again, CI journeys, CI data, sales, service, but they also go beyond the product as well. So again, trying to think about those functional best practices that will then help you make the most of the tools. So we have self-paced courses, one-on-one time with Coffee and Dunn SMEs, exclusive webinars, content, lots of really good stuff that's coming out very soon.
Okay, fantastic. And talk about very soon, we've got the North America Summit happening in San Antonio, where we're going to have over 5,000 members of the Microsoft ecosystem. We'll have partners there, customers, Microsoft employees. And Coffee and Dunn's doing 3 presentations in this area of marketing. So let's talk about what you'll be showing at the conference.
Yeah, we are. So as you mentioned, we've got 3 sessions slated for Summit. One is around tips and tricks related to CI journey. So 25 tips in 25 minutes. We are also going to be tackling consent management in CI journeys. And that one's just a really tricky topic. It's a very different way of managing consent in real-time journeys. And so we'll walk through some of the best practices there as you begin that transition over to make sure that you remain compliant when it comes to gathering consent for your digital communications. And then finally, we have a session on lead management. So how to capture, how to maintain, how to be able to use the product to really make sure that you're nurturing those leads as effectively as possible. So yeah, those are the 3 sessions that we have coming up in Summit.
Okay, and I'm looking forward to attending all 3 of those sessions to find out more about the mysteries of dynamics marketing, because most partners are still and customers still have a lot of questions. And I know when I have questions, I go and I talk to Coffee and Dunn. So thanks for your time today, and I'm sure we'll be back in the near future to talk to you more about, the portal you're building and more changes coming to the product.
Thanks very much. I really appreciate your time, Rick.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Bye-bye.